Um, hmm. Oh, where's my tablet? Tablet. I'm gonna wait and see if anybody gets on here. Kind of nice to see somebody. Kind of nice to know that I'm not the only person in the world. It feels like it sometimes, but such is life. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. That's one of my messages today that Father ministered to me was don't quit. I was going over some of my older videos on my Dakota Firehole in-ground rocket stove thermal mass heater. Dakota DFS, whatever. Anyway, and in the course of that, I had one of them I called "Don't Quit" because I had just watched a video by Bear Independent, Grindstone Ministries. And I rewatched that video and very encouraging. He says, "Don't quit." He says a lot of Americans have never been punched in the face, literally or figuratively, by life. Well, this last couple of weeks, we've seen a whole lot of people got punched in the face. Some of them are dead now. And this is in Helene, the aftermath in Asheville area. And so there's a lot of stuff going on there. And I've been following the whole thing, just been glued to just watching video after video of the ministries that are there, the groups that are there, the organizations that are there helping out, and the stories of people, local people. My daughter lived there in Swannanoa, okay, and came out here to visit while the water's being turned back on. I don't know how long she's going to be here, but here in the area, meaning, here in Missouri. And so that was really a blessing to see her and my two grandsons. I think my youngest grandson, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody slipped one by me, but anyway. So she came out to visit, and we had a good time the other day meeting together, and got to see William. Anyway, point is, one of my biggest things that I've been trying to do over the last several years is to get this idea out there, concept out there. It's kind of I was calling it my invention. I actually started doing research on how to apply for a patent and whatnot, and just found that was way over my head, way over my pay grade, as my friend Bills would say. But so I'm not going to bother with that. I just want to give the idea out there. I want to get the idea out there to people. So I'll spend all week writing to different organizations that are there on boots on the ground people. I want to talk about a few of them and give them a shout out. So one I've already mentioned, Bear Independent, Grindstone Ministries, and they have a medical response team too. They do disaster relief. Now I've just learned about new people here this last week. I'm going to say another one. I'll get back to that in a minute. I'm going to talk about this. So Bear has just a whole, he called it Bear Nation, and it's not kidding. I mean, there's people are spread all over the country. He said, was that our guys here that did this tree work? There's some big trees. I mean, they're driving along, every tree's cut off. The highway's clear, you're talking 2 foot, 3 foot diameter trees, cut, cleaned, limbed, not a stick on the highway, nothing on the highway at all. Was this our local guys that did this? No, that was the guys from Wisconsin, Michigan, whatever. So, I mean, people came down to he put out the word, and, people that he knew him, come down and do that. And he said, give a shout out to a Kubota dealer in Oklahoma, for crying out loud. He says, they're great. They've really supported us, everything we've gone out. So I'm seeing the scope of some of these people's organizations and ministry, and it's just so amazing. So, but he said, yeah, we put out the requests and stuff's there right away. Sometimes it's there before we even ask for it. So they'd send a Kubota, skid steer to help them out. And they got mountains of cases of water. They slow down on the water, people. People are sending in water, which is critical. But the thing is, you got to have you send in a semi-load of water. Where are we going to put it? Well, it's got to be sitting out in the sun for a few days, and they don't want that to happen. Number one, it's going to start freezing and breaking, and it'll be worthless. So they've got to get it into shelter where it's not going to freeze, and that's going to be very difficult in the coming days and weeks ahead. So there's all kinds of logistics there. Now, Bear gave a shout out to a company, a group, I don't know what it was, but it's a communication group, ham radio people, that he said that was just super critical. He said, without communication, you have no logistics. Without logistics, you got nothing. So we can't get to organize all this stuff. We get the equipment in here, the food in here, they got everything from sanitary products to pet food, and even bales of hay for the livestock animals and whatnot. So there's a lot to do in those situations to bring people's lives not back to normal, but to help them out, to help them to stay alive, help them to survive. There are people who've been in there trapped in the backcountry for 8 days with no food or water. Just amazing. And you get into help them, they're like, "No, I don't need anything. Just give it to somebody else. I don't need it." What are you eating? Berries. Some old, what do we call them? Mountain person, knows how to survive in the wild. And they said, "No, I don't need a generator. No, give it to somebody that needs it." What are you cooking on? Well, I got a wood stove. I got a whatever, I got a grill. What are you eating? Well, berries and leaves and stuff. Yeah. Amazing. So the thing about getting punched in the face and getting knocked down and getting up and getting back into the grind, that's one of my things is, one of my prayers and my hopes is that I can get this idea out to some of those people so they can start getting it into play, because it is, this, my idea is like I said, a trench, I call it a trench rocket. It's a rocket stove thermal mass heater, right? You have this mass, 6 tons of cob. I'm not even going to go into the whole thing, but a typical rocket stove will have maybe 30 feet of pipe, 6-inch pipe, running back and forth under a cob bench and a cob bed or whatever, a cob wall, and it heats that thermal mass. You run it at full blast, full burn, and it slowly heats up that thermal mass. Well, then it slowly radiates that heat out from the thermal mass. Well, you think about that. What's 5 times better than anything else in the world at absorbing, retaining, and radiating heat? Water. Duh. So why not use water? But the thing of it is why go through all that expense and time of mixing cob and making that? And this is absolutely beautiful things they've done with it. But dig a hole in the ground, dig a trench in the ground, put your pipe in the ground, and sleep on the warm ground. So that's what my idea does. And I've made them out of 6-inch pipe, 4-inch pipe, and the latest is I should have brought some in here. Let me just go get it. 2.36-inch camping pipe. I'm gonna get it. Yeah. So I can pause this, but I'm not going to. All right. Let me see if I can set this up so you can see my board here and you can read it while I'm gone. I'll do that. I'll work it out. I can push this thing down, maybe. I think I can do that. There you go. All right. Okay, so I talked about Grindstone Ministry, Bear Independent, and their medical and their organization, just a phenomenal organization. They have people come in from all over the country, volunteers from all over the country. They'll have GSM, Grindstone Ministry, safety vests, very well organized. They don't just have purple, orange shirts, like was another big organization that was out there. Samaritan Purse. That's one of the first ones I heard about. And they did get in there. They got in there right away. I saw them in there within a few days, distributing stuff. But they have, just T-shirts. That's it. So the GSM people were really, really rigged for heavy duty stuff. I mean, like chainsaws, heavy equipment, people that could run them, people that run the chainsaws, people that could run the heavy equipment. Bear comes from a line of a family where the dad, did a lot of stuff like that, telecommunications and, fiber optics or whatever, heavy equipment stuff. Trying to spill anything else? So I'm going to go into this because this is what I've been trying to do for the last week is try to get this idea out there to people. If you have any contact with if you know anybody in contact with these people, let them know. Because here you have a 2.36 inch diameter stovepipe. Okay, this is for hot tenting. Okay, stainless steel. Now you can see when it gets hot, it turns real pretty colored, purple and orange and stuff. It's not annealed or anything, not damaged. It just turns pretty. It gets pretty colored blue. Use some blue in there, some purple, orange, whatever. So anyway, the idea is this would be your fuel port, your intake. You put fuel in there. And you can have a short piece on there, which I did. And then you have you can put a stick, a 1x2 or 2x2 or something in there, and it'll burn and self-feed itself. I put bamboo in there and it self-fed. I'd make strips of bamboo and it worked really good. So you have a constant feed there, maybe about a foot per hour. So you can put a long stick in there and have it running all night, most of the night. And the idea is you have this inside of a tent or a trailer or inside of in a cardboard box. If you're living in a cardboard box, a shed, a camper, you can have it underneath the camper. Feed it from inside the camper or trailer or whatever. And then, so it goes horizontally through the ground. And what I did, the best one I built it's right down the hill here. I like to excavate something. They do a archaeological dig and dig it up and videotape it. Because it was the most complex one I ever did. And my grandkids helped me. So I had a parabolic trench dug. And we lined that with plastic so it wouldn't water wouldn't come up from below the ground, from the earth. And then we put insulation in it. I'd use just various things. We had stuff torn out of a house, that aluminum looking stuff, the E insulation. And I used some aluminum foil just for the heck of it too. So we insulated it and then we put the pipe in there, put some, layer of sand or dirt, and then the pipe, and then covered that up. So it's covered up to the level of the ground. And so when you fire that up, okay? And what happens is, go to the other end. Let's say this is like 10 feet long. Let's say it's 4. I want to say I've had it up to about 6 feet. So let's say this is like 6 feet. Pretend. Got an elbow on that side and an elbow on this side. Okay. I got this pillow. I got to get this pillow off of here. Or put this thing a little bit further away, maybe. I'm not bumping it. Okay, so schematics cut away your little jagged lines here. So that's your fuel intake, your fuel port. This is your exhaust port, your chimney. Now in the chimney, you have it insulated with, let's say, one of the things I got for it was, what do you call it stuff? That's the big one, that's the little one, that's the little one, this one's crimped. So you have that insulated with, like motorcycle, you get this fiberglass stuff for motorcycle. Maybe I'll do another video on this just to explain it. So I get it out there, and I'll do a good, that's what I need to do a video just on this and explaining the system, because I was watching some of my videos on it, and I'm like, I'm not really explaining what's going on here. So I got to explain what's going on. So I'll do that. Anyway, intake fuel port, exhaust port. If this has, let's say you build this, you put this come up out of the ground underneath a tree or a bush, then you got a stealth situation. You don't have any smoke coming out, because once this is burning full blast, there's hardly any smoke. It burns very hot, very efficiently. Okay, that's why you want stainless steel pipe or something like that. A rocket stove will actually burn up your stainless steel pipe. Yeah, a real one will actually melt it or destroy it in short order. So anyway, because it runs at like 2,500 degrees. And anyway, so this is insulated. So once this gets warmed up, heat rises, right? So with this is your riser. So when heat starts rising, it creates draft. So you get this, it's sucking cold air in this end. So you got flame, you get your flame down there, you got it burning. So your flame's going sideways. Seriously, I mean, it'll nibble away at the whatever you put in the side, and it'll burn it up, and it'll self-feed. Now that could be plastic. It could be trash bags. It could be anything. It could be shreds of plastic. Oil. You could pour oil in there. Alcohol. Any kind of fuel, it'll burn it. Leaves, twigs, pine cones, coconut shell. Anything. Charcoal. It'll burn it up. Okay. And this exhaust port is very, very low signature, so it's really a stealth thing too. I'm not worried about that right now with the Hurricane Helene thing. My concern is to get this idea out to people, because they can be sleeping on warm ground. If they're in a trade or if they're in a shed, a lot of people are going to be in tents before long. You're going to see, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of tents out there. Well, I haven't seen that many tents. I don't have any idea. Some of these companies that have, they've done it before. Otter, they do ice fishing shelters. I saw a whole complex of their tents set up for disaster relief. And I don't know why they're not out there. Probably because I'm not going to make any political comments here, but read into it what you will. I'm just going to say there's a reason why they're not there. Eskimo makes them. Otter makes them. Clam, otter, Eskimo. The one I really wanted was a Otter Vortex Pro Resort. That's what I wanted, because it was 103 square foot. It has 6-sided, full walk-through door. You don't have to trip over the little stupid half-moon door that you bend over, and don't catch your feet on the down below, because it's just a zipper. A D-shaped opening. Zip it around, and it's vertical on this side, and the vertical half moon on this side, and the straight on this side. So you got to be careful walking through it. Well, Eskimo was the first one that came out with it, but Eskimo came out with the idea of a full door, 3-foot wide door. You can walk through it. You're not tripping on anything. I'm elderly now, so I'm not as sure on my feet as I used to be. I've never heard of broken an ankle or anything. I played pulling guard in high school football. That's about it. But I used to have very good stability. I'm not so much anymore. So I got to be careful on that. Anyway, so my point is that Eskimo came out with a full door. Otter did a full door. They're the only two that I know right now that are doing it. So I'm going to say, name a few shelters here that should be out there. People need to get them out there. So Otter, number one. Eskimo. Clam. There, I got a clam. I had no. That was stupid of me. Now, another thing is I saw these on Amazon. They are acacia. They have a insulated, like multi-layered insulated floor. Insulated. I'm going to say inflated. It's like a giant air mattress. Think of your floor as being an air mattress, a really hard air mattress. They air it up to like something like a ridiculous amount, 400 psi, maybe, I don't know. 3 psi you can hurt yourself with. I know, because whitewater rafts are only like 5 psi, something like that. Well, you may know, you may not. But anyway, they have an insulated floor system, and they're pretty good size. They don't have a full door, unfortunately, I don't think. Anyway, those are really awesome. And then the other thing is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. This is something I've been looking for my whole life. Well, I would like to have one and show it to people. Shift pod. These were developed because of Burning Man. The guy Christian Weber invented them and designed them. They looked like they were designed by NASA to, be on Mars or the moon or something. They're aluminized and they're very highly insulated, very well insulated. Okay, so there you go. Otter. Well, it's a Vortex Pro Resort. I say that because it's 6-sided. You want 6 sides and full door. And Eskimo, they got several of them. They're like the 450, the 650 XD. 650, I think, is their biggest one. So the Otter is the Otter is 103 square feet. Eskimos are maybe 60, 70, like that. The clam that I have is about 89. It's 890. It's clam C890. And that is 89 square feet. It does not have a full door. It is 6-sided, but it's not a full door. So, there you go. Otter has the full door, 103 square feet. Eskimos ballpark, it's good. They're Eskimos the one that came up with the idea of a full door. Phenomenal development on I can't see that. Okay, phenomenal development on ice fishing shelters. Now here's the thing: is if an ice fishing shelter is designed to keep you warm in the winter, will it not keep you cool in the summertime too? Now that's assuming you have shade cloth. Now like the Burning Man stuff, that's in the summertime. That's in August, I think. So the shift pod was made for cooling. It actually has ports for intake and outtake for air conditioning. You can have air conditioners in that thing. Yeah, and it's insulated inside, multiple layers of insulation, insulated floor, the whole 9 yards. So they're designed for heat, for specifically. But you can, and they even have a cover for them. The layer to shed some of the heat and let some airflow underneath it. That's what you want to do. Anytime you have any kind of shelter, put a friend of mine always did this. He went to a tabernacle somewhere. He had his tent set up, and he put a rope between 2 trees, and he'd have a heavy tarp up there, and put his tent under there. So that kept the heat off, it kept the rain off, it kept the snow off, it kept the ice off, it kept the sun off too. So it'd be anytime you put a barrier between you and the sun, or whether it's heat or cold, it's going to increase your living comfort level. So that's something to remember. So no matter what you do, put a cover over it. Don't just put up a tent. Make sure you got some kind of protection from the wind and protection from the rain and snow and whatnot in the sun. So the acacia there, that's a phenomenal. I'd love to get one of those too. I'd love to have one of those just so I could show it to people, because it is, wow. We're very well designed as far as I can see. They don't have a full door yet, but they should. Okay, so anyway, that's my 2.36 inch. Okay, 6 centimeter. See, there's a pin. You can see there's the cap of the pin. Okay, the cap of that pin is just a little short of. It's about 5.5 centimeters. That's the idea. So that you got the idea on that. So if you know anybody that's with Grindstone or any of the ministries that I'm going to name, Bear Nation, Grindstone Ministries, Bear Nation, and their disaster relief people, please let them know. I'm posting it nonstop on writing to ministries and writing to posting on videos, comments, and well, I might get flagged for it. I don't know, but anyway, that's one of my biggest concerns. Is to this is an idea that I have. It's a rock solid idea. It works. I've done it 3 times. I've never stayed in a tent with it, but it'll work because this concept of sound. The little you have some little learning curves, as they say. But if you're with me on this, pray about it anyway, okay? Anybody on here? GTR. Caddy Anton. Hey, everybody. It's like GTR. Message retracted. Well, bummer. Somebody gonna say something and then they didn't. Okay. All right. Anyway, so. Okay, another ministry I want to talk about is, and this one absolutely blows me away. Blows me away. It's called Free Burma Rangers. You know where Burma is over there? Used to be Burma. Now it's Myanmar. My in-laws, my parents-in-law went there as missionaries to Myanmar. I remember that. I think my father-in-law had a heart attack there. But Burma, what used to be called Burma, well, some guy who was ex-special forces, Dave Eubank. Okay, it might be Eubanks, I'm not sure. So pardon me if I say it wrong. But he decided one day he's going to go to Burma, and he met this girl, and he was they dated, went out a couple of times, I think. And one day he said, "Hey, I'm going to go to Burma. You want to come along with me? You want to marry me? Will you marry me?" You know. Her name was Karen. Oh my gosh! Watch the movie Free Burma Rangers. It's on YouTube. I'll put the link on here. But oh my gosh, what a life! So I kid you not, he asked this woman if she'll go to Burma with him and marry him. She does. She says yes. She's all in, 100%. Let me talk about a commitment. So they raised three children in Burma, riding horses and learning how to. I mean, girls riding bareback, little girls. And one girl said, "I love to swim. My dad always encouraged that." And it shows him throwing her into a river. I mean, a heavy river. Throws her in and said, "Yeah, just keep swimming, keep swimming." And he jumps in after her, you know. But pretty heavy flow of a river. I wouldn't want to jump in it myself. Anyway, it was just amazing life they have had. So raised 3 kids overseas, and they went to Iraq. And in there he had a situation where they were. I mean, you've seen going in under fire to rescue people, to pull wounded soldiers out. Well, he went in to pull a little girl out. Just you have to watch the movie to see it. I mean, just absolutely mind-boggling. They're medical missionaries. They're missionaries, but they're medical. They show up with medical supplies, and they know how they use them, you know. So he's got a worldwide organization also. Actually, the reason I knew about them was because they went to Asheville to help out. And by the time I contacted them, they'd already pulled out, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they would have met up with Bear Nation. It would have been cool. They're very similar. They went to a war-torn area like Burma. They ran toward the gunfire, not away from it. They ran toward the gunfire. That's where the wounded are going to be. So they'd go run under fire and get the wounded out. And to this time, 2 or 3 of his people have been killed, but none of his family. That's really a blessing. So I'm sure they pray Psalm 91 every day. I would recommend that. So, yeah. So I wrote to Dave Eubank, and he wrote me back, which is really cool. I told him my idea, and I gave him some playlist videos, and he said, "Yeah, I watched those." He said, "It's a great idea." He said, "We've already pulled out of there. We're back overseas." So I'm like, "Oh, bummer." He said, "We just have a couple of volunteers." I said, "Well, please give them my number, my name, my idea, send the playlist to them so they can help out there with the idea." So, all right. So another organization is Cajun Navy. I have not got in touch with them at all, but they've been in there. They're a phenomenal group, local American group, USA based, I think, group as far as Cajun Navy always. Anyway, they're a good group of organization of people that have been in there helping out a lot. So, I'm not sure what else I want to talk about here. That's the main thing. I want to get this idea out to people. I mean, around the world, everybody around the world, anytime it's cold, you could be sleeping you go camping, you can have this in your tent. You have that little fuel port in your tent, drop sticks in it during the night, and just, it's going to exhaust outside no matter what happens. It's not going to smoke inside at all. As long as that outside stack stays warm and you keep it drafted and keep it going, now if you let it burn down, it's going to, a little bit of smoke may come up inside, but not much. Anyway, you just keep it going, stay warm. Okay, Grindstone Ministries, Cajun Navy, Bear Nation, Free Burma Rangers. Those are some of the ones I've been trying to get in touch with. So if you have any contact with any of those, please, you just pray for me, because I want to say this. Once upon a time, back in the olden days, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, 1999, Y2K year, there was a woman, and so it amazes me that people do not know who I'm going to mention, this name I'm going to mention, but Carla Emery, okay? She was she was teaching people how to grow a garden, how to grow the greatest garden of your life. And she was on Michael Douglas show. And one day she showed up with her children and she said, what are you doing with the kids here? Well, they're part of the homeschool operation. I teach my children. Don't bring them next time. She never went back. But she's becoming very famous on that show because she's on a regular basis, but she never went back. So anyway, during 1999, she went through hundreds of places around the country. She drove all over the country. She'd be in Grants Pass, Oregon, then she'd be in Derby, Kansas, and then she'd be in Oklahoma, and then she'd be in Texas. If she got an invitation, she would drive. Didn't matter when or how. She didn't schedule them. She didn't have anybody scheduling for her. She's going to be in that area in September. She's not going to be in there. She would drive from Oregon to Oklahoma to speak at a meeting and then go back to, Washington or somewhere. She'd put on, I don't know, probably 100,000 miles that year. I don't have any idea. Never will know. Anyway, we invited her 5 times to Kansas because that's where we were at the time. We were running our Y2K business, Pilgrim's Products, and so it was a very weird, very, very different year for my family. We sold stoves, wood stoves, and water filters, British Berkfield water filters, Night Star flashlights, just a whole bunch of things. Had about 200 products by the end of the year, moving about 200 different products. So, anybody else on here? So they So anyway, she came in 5 times. She spoke in Kansas, and one of the times in Holton, Kansas, it was at I don't remember, a restaurant or something in Holton, Kansas, and she gives a little impassioned speech, just to encourage, like an exhortation. She goes, "When you get tired, you should just keep plugging along, keep working, don't quit." She said, "Just keep going." And she goes, "If you get so tired, you have to just." Get on your hands and knees and crawl. She said, just crawl. If you get so tired you can't do that, just lay in your belly and crawl, and God will come and pick you up. So I'm waiting for God to come pick me up, basically. I'm just telling you, I'm pretty tired and pretty worn out, and hoping for a change. But I'm still believing that God's going to do something great. I have this thing for many years. I've felt like I had a place to, something to do in the world, something great to do. And I'm going to hang on to that, so I'm going to keep working, keep doing videos and stuff. So, yeah, but don't quit. And that's a message from Bear Independent and from Carla Emery. And I want to say it a different way. This is I call this a butterfly effect, No, I don't call it that. It's very common, They say the butterfly can flap its wing on this side of the world, and on the other side of the world, it'll create a tornado. So in other words, something small, something seemingly insignificant, something very weak and very fragile can create a great effect somewhere else. And that's true. I believe that's very true. And I want to give an effect here. It's got a name to it. And this is to women and little girls, any young women out there that are listening to me. I want to give you a special message. I've spent a lot of time. I got I don't know how but I got enamored with a little girl whose name was Caitlin Clark, and she started playing basketball when she was a little girl. This video of her, little, I don't know, 2.5 feet tall. I mean, 3-year-old girl bouncing basketball. And she got to the point where she had her dad pour more concrete so she could shoot farther. So he had to pour more concrete on the driveway so she could go back to 3-point range. He would not let her shoot 3-point. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of the story there. But my point is that she goes to high school, has a really good high school career, college at Iowa State and Buckeyes, and just becomes standout. This woman has surpassed records set by Michael Jordan and Pistol Pete Maravich. If you know basketball at all, you would know who Michael Air Jordan is. You should know who Pistol Pete Maravich is from LSU. She broke both of their records on total points scored. She set a record that neither of them had even set. She set a new record. I don't remember what it is at the time, but she set a record that Pistol Pete hadn't done and Jordan hadn't done. And so anyway, just phenomenal. So my point is this: is that she's constantly getting knocked down, hammered. It's a thug league. It's like a ghetto league. WNBA, supposedly like NBA. Well, they have no class in this. The NBA has some class at least. When LeBron James, he got in there. He got hammered. Michael Jordan got hammered a lot too. But this is like on a totally different level. I mean, no fouls called. It's just this woman was kind of getting flattened, beaten up. Like one time, this woman was going up to try to get a ball, and you can see her looking directly at Caitlin's face. Her hand comes down like this with the big fake nails right in her eye. When you see she's staring at her, she's looking at her. Oh, I swatted the ball. Well, the ball's 4 feet behind her. So, but you know what? Caitlin Clark, they asked her in the thing, trying to stir it up, saying, do you think that was intentional? Oh, no, that wasn't intentional. It was just an accident. She was just going for the ball. I mean, the whole idea of, loving your enemies and, don't talk bad. Don't say anything negative. This woman is a world-class example of that, and she's having a butterfly effect on hundreds and thousands of little girls and boys around the country and around the world. So it's just a phenomenal, class active person, So yeah, she's going to create a tornado on the other side of the world. So yeah, I just want to bring that up. She doesn't quit. She gets up, she gets hammered, rolls, gets up, and then just goes nuts. 3-pointers they call it logo shots from the half court. Shooting from half court and dunk, switching it every time. Well, not every time, but almost every time. But they make her mad. She gets hotter, she gets better. It just turns up the heat for them. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that anymore. My point was, don't quit. Bear Nation, don't quit. That video, I'll try to put the link here, but just look up Grindstone Ministry, Bear Nation, don't quit. It pulls it up right away. Cajun Navy, Free Burma. Watch the movie Free Burma Rangers. Please watch that movie. Very moving, very powerful. The whole thing is, the other thing too is about love. I'm talking about Caitlin here. Brought up by a Catholic family. Okay, that's okay. But she's not speaking bad about her enemies. And there are people who are her enemies, but she doesn't say anything bad about them. She does question the refs, trying to push the refs. She gets upset with the refs because they're supposed to do their job. She just wants them to do their job, and they're not doing their job. They're not protecting her. They're not being fair at all. They would have gone further in the playoffs, and the WNBA would have a lot more viewership if they'd not let her get hammered so much. Because she took their team into the playoffs, and they just weren't able to. They got that first game, 90 seconds into the game, she gets her eye stabbed. That just shot her game. The whole rest of the game was bad until the fourth quarter. She finally got a little bit back more in sync and whatnot, but recovered a little bit. But they put them out of the playoffs deliberately by fouls and by dirty play and rough, being very illegally flagrant fouls, basically. So anyway, no more on that. But anyway, don't quit. She doesn't quit. She's not going to quit. People, they're all kind of rumors she's going to go to Europe. She's done with the WNBA. No, she's not done with the WNBA. I can just tell you from listening to her, she's not going to quit. She's not going to walk away from the WNBA because that's her whole thing. She almost cried when she said this. She said, I want to be a role model for little girls around the country and around the world. And she is. She really is being that, so she's not going to walk away from that. That was her life dream, was to play in the WNBA. And that's what she's doing. She's not going to quit. She's not going to do it. She's not going to go to Europe or anything. She was offered $10 million to play in the Big Three. The guy Ice Cube's over there, rapper. He has his own basketball league. three on three, not 5-on-5, but 3-on-3, and called the Big Three. Another one's called I can't remember the name of it. Unrivaled, yeah. Not gonna do with that. She's not gonna play any of those. She can play golf or do something else, but she's not going to quit the WNBA. I can guarantee you that. She's gonna come back next year, and it's gonna be interesting to see. There's people who are not gonna watch a single game until she comes back playing. I mean, get the idea. This woman, little girl, 22-year-old girl, going to another state, and the other state in Minnesota or wherever it is would have more fans that are wearing her jersey, paid to wear her jersey, than they have their own fans there. The away team has more visitor fans there than their own team has, and yelling louder. And they'd sell out arenas. They would sell out. They had to go to an NBA facility to have their thing, because the normal place venue that they had lined up wasn't big enough. They sold like 17,000 tickets. They had to go take it to an NBA class arena to play. So anyway, they figured she brought about $50 million into the state of Iowa while she was there at college. Yeah, between restaurants and travel and everything. Anyway, okay, enough of that. So my point is that don't quit. Run toward the gunfire. Don't run away from the gunfire. Yeah, Free Burma Rangers. Please watch that movie. I'm telling you, phenomenal movie. All right, I'm going to get off here. I'm done. And it is 41 minutes. Yeah, that's about long enough. So, Bear Nation, Out of the Ashes, Ring of Fire, Caitlin Clark. Yeah, forgive your enemies. Don't. Well, another don't quitter is Temple Grandin. There, I don't know if you know, familiar with her, but she was a little girl, not born in 1951. She was autistic. She didn't speak until she was 4 years old. Her mother tried to get her to speak, and took her to the doctor. The doctor said, "Well, she's autistic. We recommend that she be institutionalized." Her mother's like, "No, I'm not going to do that to my kid. That would be giving up on her." So she persisted. She got her to start talking, and then she went to all the many different kind of situations. But there's a movie about her. Just watch it, or watch a bunch of clips on YouTube. You can pick up a bunch of information there. But yeah, she never quit. Her mother would not let her quit. She wouldn't let her just. She forced her to face life. To go to this school and to learn things, and she did. She pursued her. Became a math. She got a degree. She got another degree. And then she got a master's degree. And then she got a doctorate. And this one woman, this little autistic girl, whose mother would not let her quit, would not let her not face life. She forced her to face life, right? This woman ended up changing the entire meat industry. I kid you not. Because she loved cattle. She saw the way cattle saw. Get down on her hands and knees and look, and shiny, reflecting off the water, reflecting off the steel. So she designed a meat packing, slaughtering situation where they would dip the cattle and safely slaughter the cattle safely. Not many broken legs, not many dead cattle. So she totally revamped the whole meat industry. I mean, you can find out about her very, very, very easily. Just look her up. Temple, Temple Grandin, Grandin. Temple Grandin. Look her up. Watch some of the videos there. So, all right, that's about it. All right, well, I'm going to get off here. And yeah, I wanted to, get back on my book, but I just wanted to get this done here. Not too many people around. Okay, well, anyway. All right, well, good night. Bye-bye. One person, huh? Interesting. All right, well, I don't know what happened tonight, but I said I was going to be on every Sunday night, so good night. See you, Gad. Oh, man, I should have.